This was posted 3 months ago. I was kind of interested to see what this is all about. The future of game development by Brackies. I think I said that right.
Hello everyone, it's been a while, I hope you've all been well. The last time we uploaded a video was over 3 years ago, and I think it's safe to say that a lot has happened
This guy just recently came back? Jesus Christ.
since then, both in the world and in the game dev industry. Personally, I've been taking a break from video games, and to be honest, I wasn't really planning on making any new videos anytime soon. I think for a while that some of the harsh realities of the video game industry had taken away some of the joy that I used to feel when making games. From the lack of unionization in AAA to the real challenge of keeping an indie
This guy made... Wait, this guy made games? Probably like... Hang on. I don't know this guy's credentials, essentially, but I'm guessing... Probably makes indie games. I don't really know. Yeah, this guy. Okay, so. Right. Okay, so yeah. 3 years ago. So yeah, he did recently return. Jesus Christ. Okay. GD script. Go dot. Yeah. I was kind of right in my assessment. Kind of right.
the game studio afloat, I think there's an ever-increasing pressure on developers. As someone who started in the game dev space very young with simple and probably naive ideas of what it means to make video games, these realities simply took it out of me for a while. But recently, that changed a bit.
I was thinking about, on unrelated note, not unrelated, semi-related note, I was thinking about getting an RPG Maker. I don't know which version, I cannot speak today. I don't know which version I was gonna get, but I was probably thinking about like getting it, but they cost getting RPG Maker costs a whole lot, like more than some indie games today. So I think last time they wanted you to pay like what, $70+ to get RPG Maker. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm not committing to that. Like, no way. So yeah, that's why I haven't gotten RPG Maker yet. Thing is, I kind of want to try my hand at it, see what luck I can get, and hey, hopefully my hard drive doesn't crap out on me, because that's a big problem when you make games with RPG Maker. You have like I wouldn't say a good chance, but there is a chance that your hard drive will break on you if you use RPG Maker. That's kind of the reason why I've been steering away from it, because I don't want to actually have my hard drive break on me.
Not because I discovered some cure that will magically make these issues disappear, because unfortunately I haven't, and they won't. But simply because I saw something that made me excited about making games again. In fact, you could say that it's been a game changer, pun intended, and I know that a lot of you feel the same. I'm of course talking about open source. Let me explain. I've long been a huge fan of Blender. If you don't know, Blender is an incredibly powerful and now very popular 3D graphics tool.
Yeah, a lot of indie developers and even a few AAA developers today use Blender. It's that popular. Because, like, why use, a lot of these other things when Blender is supposedly the best? And there are people that say Blender is the best when it comes to making, like, animations or models or things like that. I could kind of understand, but at the same time, things like Unity still exist and debatably are better.
Has capabilities in modeling, sculpting, UV mapping, hugely powerful rendering, and the list just goes on.
Yep.
And the thing about Blender is that it's...
What I do know is that there are some VTubers that make their models in Blender. 3D VTubers, mind you, but still. That's an avenue. If you don't want to actually commission artists to make you like a 2D model, you could always figure out how to use Blender and make yourself a 3D model. most likely I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably not going to... Hello? Hello? Why did my Discord just break? I don't know why my PNG stopped reacting, but that was odd. Speaking of models... yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm probably just going to get, you know, commission the model or whatnot, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to keep my PNG. Probably for the foreseeable future. For the foreseeable future, I'm probably going to keep this PNG. And technically, you know, PNG tubers are VTubers. Change my mind. We're essentially VTubers with, you know, less steps, pretty much. Proto VTubers, if you will.
100% free.
What's going on? Where is he going? Is he in Is this IKEA?
When I started using
You have to enough with that.
Blender, it was
I
still
love
pretty
that.
small and not even close to comparing to the mighty industry standard Autodesk suite. But
Oh wait, no, was that an
close
actual...
to compare
I totally... Was that an actual Blender?
that it's 100% free.
Oh my god. I think it was an actual Blender. It wasn't actual, it was! I love that so much. Dude actually bought an actual Blender for the joke. That's commitment to the bit right there. Oh my god. I love that.
When I started using Blender, it was still pretty small and not even close to comparing to the mighty industry standard Autodesk suite. But since then, it has become a huge contender in the world of 3D graphics, preferred by many professionals as well. But how can something that is free ever compete with a hugely complicated software suite that costs thousands of dollars in subscription fees? Well,
Yeah. Oh shoot. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh my god. Well, where was I? I was up to this point, right? Right?
hugely complicated software suite that costs thousands of dollars in subscription fees.
Yeah, I was going to say before I accidentally did that, I wouldn't even begin to know what to do with if I got this. Cause I'm a simple-minded creature. Keep in mind, I'm a simple-minded, not gremlin, but I'm a simple-minded Sasquatch looking dude. barely haired Sasquatch. So if I did get this, God, like, I don't freaking know, man. A lot of people said that I was creative back in my youth. I wish I still was, cause dude, if I had the mind that I had, like if I had the innovative mind that I still had, that I used to have, not still have, but used to have. God, the amount of things I could have created with Blender and Autodesk is just, it's wild, man. I'd probably be a game developer by now. Like I say that I keep saying this to myself and to my siblings. I don't think I have said it to my siblings yet, but if they watch this video, then they'll not hear it. If I had access to Unreal or Unity back when I was in like middle school, high school, I'd probably be a game developer by now. And I mean like freshman high school. Because that was when I was like really interested in just, creating things. If I had access to Unreal or, Unity or whatnot, I'd probably be I would probably be working in the actual like Bethesda office of Bethesda Game Studios, Bethesda Softworks, because that's the closest one I live near. I'd probably be working in Bethesda by now. I probably would have had to go to to college first for, that stuff, but hey, minor hurdle, I'd suppose.
Well, at least part of the answer is that Blender is what we call free and open source software, also known as FOSS. This means that instead of a company owning and controlling the software with a private codebase, the software is publicly owned and has a public and open codebase that anyone can access and contribute to.
I think for Blender, you have to actually pay to get certain features. It's the same with the editing software that I use, DaVinci Resolve, where DaVinci Resolve is free use open source software, but you have to pay. But if you want to get certain features, like if you want to use certain filters for like audio or video, like if you want certain abilities for editing, you have to pay like what, up to $400 to actually get the full version of DaVinci Resolve. So yeah, I'm not really keen on doing that. I'm more or less satisfied with simplistic edits. So I don't really need to buy a whole lot. Pretty much I don't need to buy anything. But if I want to down the line, I might buy DaVinci Resolve. But dude, from what I've gathered, Filmora is a much easier editing software to use for my taste. But unfortunately, if you want to use Filmora, let's go back to this mobile thing right here. If you want to use Filmora,
instead of a company,
you have to pay the company for a subscription service. So you don't even get to keep Filmora. You have to pay a subscription fee, I'm pretty sure. And after that,
controlling the software with a
after that, you then get to use Filmora. You then get to use the product. So pretty much, Filmora and Adobe. What was it? Adobe Premiere Pro have use this system where you pay them a subscription fee, and then you get to use the product. So this is how they operate. For DaVinci Resolve and for a few other lesser known editing softwares, you don't need to pay for it. It's optional. It's optional if you do. But essentially, if you want to use DaVinci Resolve or any of these other lesser known editing softwares, you download it for free. Nothing attached. No payment attached unless you want to actually pay to get premium features. You just download it for free and you get to use the product. Pretty much, that's how it goes. So yeah, it's kind of similar, I'd say. God, I just went on like a friggin'... I went on a lot right there.
It's a public and open code base that anyone can access and contribute to. If you don't like something about the software or you would like to add a feature to it, you can simply download a copy of it and modify it to suit your needs.
Or you pay you pay the company and then you get everything for a single payment, pretty much. So in a way, it's kind of similar to paying the company and then you get like the full access for the program. But you get what I'm going at.
And then, if you like the result, you can re-upload it to see if other people would find it useful too, perhaps merging your changes into the main program. One of the great benefits of this is that it helps ensure that the software development is driven by the needs of the people who use it. It's a hugely democratic way of organizing development. On top of this, open source makes it possible to utilize volunteer work and donations to fund development. This means that the software is free from ties to any single entity, and makes it possible for anyone to use it without having to pay subscription fees or owing away part of their revenue. And open source is actually not as niche as you might think. Linux, for example, went from a small hobbyist tool in the early 90s to powering enterprise server systems.
Yeah, and you gotta keep in mind there are so many freaking versions of Linux as well. Like you got Arch Linux, you got freaking Ubuntu, I'm pretty sure. Those two aren't even like the only two versions of Linux. There is a massive amount. There is a massive like number of different versions of Linux, all powering different things. Steam Deck is actually powered by a version of Linux. So is the Google Chromebook. And those two aren't just, again, those two aren't the only systems that use Linux. I'm pretty sure that there are like other popular products that use Linux as a main OS. Yeah, Linux is massive, dude. A lot more so than people give it credit for.
Also, so many of the completely mainstream products of our time are built on top of Linux,
Yeah.
such as software for cars, televisions, and all
Oh yeah, Tesla uses freaking Linux. I totally forgot.
Android phones. It also powers most of the internet and the world's stock exchanges. So open source is already an integral part of the digital world we live in today. Now, I mentioned
Yeah.
that I started making games when I was still very young.
Imagine if everything used freaking Windows, dude. Oh my god. Like imagine that would be a freaking nightmare scenario. Oh my god. Imagine if Windows ran the world. Or Microsoft ran the world. Everything would use Windows. Everything would use Windows. Dystopian.
But looking back, it
I
feels
say that now and I'm using Windows. Oh lord.
like the industry was as well. In just the past decade, third-party engines like Unity and Unreal have become huge and industry standard. A big difference from before, where
Yeah, speaking of, there is a version. I think it's like called Core. It's essentially if what's it called? If Epic Games made Roblox. Is pretty much Core, whatever it's called, is pretty much just Roblox but with Fortnite characters as your main avatars. From what I know, it's pretty fun, but I've never tried it personally. I could be completely wrong. Hang on, I gotta look this up to see if I'm actually friggin'. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Epic, Epic Games. Core. Yeah, Core Games. Yeah. Okay, so I was right. So yeah, this is pretty freaking fun from what I remember, from what I not remember, but from what I've heard. And there are a lot of people that actually still make things for this. I mean, and yeah, you can make things like FPS games. You can make hangout spots. You could even have like a freaking World of Tanks, but like World of Tanks War Thunder, but with the Epic, but with Unreal Engine. You can make RPGs, things like that. There's a lot you could do with Core. So, wait a second. Isn't this just golf with friends? Isn't that just Slither.io? Damn, all right. But yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? A lot of people use, Unreal Engine, whether it's Core Games or just like anything else like that. And yeah, a lot of people use Unreal, so people are using open source software. That goes without saying. It's popular. It's free to use, essentially. So if it's powerful enough and free to use, why not test out with it? Why not, explore what you can do? Yeah, what's really stopping me from, getting into Oh, I know what's stopping me. I don't actually have a PC. I'm streaming on a laptop right now, so, and my laptop is pretty strong, but it's not powerful enough to handle a lot of the things that Unreal has to offer. So that's why I'm not. That's not why I'm not really doing much with it.
Game studios would develop and use their own in-house engines. Also, indie development has gone from something that very few people even knew about to a huge community where hobbyists and professionals alike publish successful game titles, largely because of how accessible these third-party engines have become. And the game industry as a whole has become the largest entertainment industry in the world, far surpassing...
I mean, if a lot of you don't know about, what's it called? I'm actually not actually gonna go to a site, but there is a site called Game Jolt, and what Game Jolt is essentially a hub for like upstarts and like the indie gaming scene, pretty much. There are things from Unity, Unreal Engine, friggin' RPG Maker. Like there are a whole bunch of games, of independent games made by, you know, upstart indie devs on Game Jolt right now. So I'd recommend checking it out. I would recommend checking it out. Hang on. God, where am I even going right now? Okay, wait. Hang on. Never mind. Hang on. Actually, wait. I think this goes to, I think I can link this, so give me a sec. Give me a second. GameJolt.com. Yeah, go see for yourself, because there's a lot that that place has to offer. Actually, does it? What did I just? Oh wait, no, yeah, I was right. I think you do need an account to actually see what's there, but hey, it's a fun time, I'd say. Have at it.
Music and movies put together. Now, this is a lot of change, and not in a lot of time. And while huge growth like this, of course, creates issues, I think it's important to remember that it also brings a lot of positives. Perhaps most importantly, making games has never been more accessible than it is now. And also, large open source projects like a modern game engine require a lot of manpower to develop.
Yeah. If you have any sort of like expertise in coding, if you have any expertise in coding and, you know, and you have a vision, it's pretty easy to make a game. I think the easiest way is by just using something simple like RPG Maker. Because I don't think you have to do a whole lot of coding for RPG Maker. I mean, I think there's some, obviously, but pretty much everything else, like all the groundwork, all the other groundwork is pretty much there for you. So yeah, not much you have to necessarily do.
Something that wouldn't have been possible with the small game dev communities of just 10 years ago. In fact, just before taking a break from game dev, I was aware of a few open source initiatives, but I didn't think that they were viable alternatives to commercial engines. But holy wow, a lot has happened since to convince me otherwise. And huge props to the game dev community for making that happen. First of all, a bunch of new engines have popped up. And
yeah, you see, like, there's Core right here. Roblox Studios is... Dude. If you don't know, a little game called Lethal Company was actually started life as a Roblox game, from what I remember correctly. And then Roblox, well, and Lethal Company actually grew into something far beyond Roblox, and yeah, it was one of the best performing games of late 2023. it kept some of that energy going into 2024, and Lethal Company is still pretty popular from what I'd say. Also, Unreal Engine with for Unreal Editor for Fortnite, bro. I was playing Fortnite yesterday, and I was playing this game mode that was made in Unreal Editor for Fortnite. It was essentially a body cam style FPS game, bro. That was actually pretty fun. That was probably the most fun I've had playing Fortnite in a while. Playing a body cam style first person shooter made in Fortnite. That was wild. Oh my god. And you have like a lot of these other ones. Obviously you got Unity, you have Nvidia Omniforce, which is Omniverse, which is pretty much the first time I'm hearing about this. Subline, Ambient, Play Canvas. Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of these that sprouted up. And again, own publishing, own publishing, publishing agnostic, open source, closed source. Pretty much, yeah. These are just many of the options. Oh yeah, Unreal Engine is teetering on closed source and own publishing. That's odd. That's odd. I thought it was open source, but I guess I'm wrong about that.
Just like with Blender, previously niche software is starting to gain massive followings, with many contributing their time and donating to hire full-time developers. The largest example of this being Godot. Godot is a free and fully open source game engine that
I pronounced this Godot when I first saw it. Good to know that it's actually called Godot? Godot? Like,
a lot of developers have recently turned to, and the timing really couldn't be better for this. Godot has actually been around for a while, but in March last year, Godot 4 was released, which was a huge rewrite of the engine, in my eyes making it a...
Yeah, that kind of looks like a Fall Guy. This kind of looks like a Fall Guys character. Does it not? So, wait. No, because Fall Guys was made by Epic Games, I'm pretty sure, and they use Unreal, so... Alright, so...
released, which was a huge rewrite of the engine, in my eyes making it a great choice for a lot of game projects. And of course, Godot is now riding on a wave of new users, developers, and a huge influx of donations to the Godot Development Fund. I've been toying around with it for the past few months, and I've been, well, loving it. While many parts of the engine of course have a ways to go, it is overall much further than I was expecting. And perhaps more importantly for me, it forced me to learn new things, and reminded me of why I fell in love with making games in the first place. Now, as
you know what I just thought of? Like, we have these open source softwares, but yeah. You have like open source software, you have like these you have things like, Godot, you have freaking the obvious Unity, Unreal Engine. Dude, imagine how easy life would be made once these, once the people that make these engines or whatnot, imagine how easy life would be once they start incorporating generative AI. A lot of you are probably rolling your eyes right now, but hey, that is like a legitimate thought to have. It would make life so much easier. And I know like how polarizing generative AI is, but hear me out. Like, instead of hang on.
Have a ways to
Instead
go.
of coloring all this in by yourself, right? Instead of like shading all this on your own, what if you had an AI system do all that work for you? Especially if you give the AI context of what color, of what's supposed to be what color. It would be pretty easy to actually make that work, right? I'm not insane for thinking this. So like, yeah, you could tell it that, you know, these are supposed to be green, you know, these parts are supposed to be brown, you know, the uh trunks of the trees, all this is supposed to be green. The character is supposed to, you know, have certain like, it's supposed to, you know, be certain like
Much further than I was expecting. And perhaps more importantly for me, it forced me to learn new things and reminded me of why. While many parts of the engine,
oh
of
yeah,
course,
like the character is supposed to have so it's supposed to have blue hair, you know, supposed to wear a white shirt. You can make the, you can tell the AI to make certain things happen, and yeah, it's pretty. I think that's pretty simple concept, right? Again, I could be completely wrong, but hey, as I always say, would not be the first time.
up with making games in the first place. Now, as for the title of this video, I'm of course in no position to predict the future of the huge industry that now is game development. But I do think that part of making that future the best that it can be is to realize just that. Game development is huge now.
Yeah.
And while this of course brings a lot of negatives, it also means that there are more game developers than ever before, who all share a love for the same thing. And that perhaps a part of this future is software that is open source, democratically owned and community funded. Now I want to be
open source, easily accessible, anybody can use it to make anything that they would want. It's a future that, you know, that's a future that I would personally want, but is that going to be the case? Might be. I mean, I feel like we're coming closer.
Be totally clear here. I'm by no means encouraging you to stop using third-party engines like Unity, Unreal, or GameMaker. Nor am I saying that you should all use Godot, or any other open source engine for that matter. I've been using Unity for many years and made well over 400 videos on it, so it's safe to say that I like the software. In the end, a game engine is a tool, and you have to use the tool that is right for you and your project. All I hope to do with this video is to inform you that there are many engines out there, and hopefully to inspire you to think of the possibilities of what can be achieved through different ways of organizing software. At GDC last year, one of the co-founders of the Godot engine, Juan Lenetsky, gave a talk titled Godot as an Open Ecosystem, with a lot of sharp observations about open source in the game dev industry. It goes into detail about how open source
game technology is extremely expensive to develop. Commercially, it's developed at a loss. Revenue comes from products and services around them. With FOSS, it's all win. It's all win. Okay. Alright. Proprietary FOSS, cost of core engine, low, distributed, high, bare full cost, customer success revenue, anyone, monopoly, products and services revenue, anyone, monopoly, profitability, high, low. All right, so yeah, I could kind of see this. I mean, you know, with proprietary engines like, you know, Frostbite. I'm like from what I've gathered, I do think EA does what is the word I'm thinking of? Oh, EA rents out Frostbite to certain companies, or I think they can, but you know, it's at a high cost, and I think you have to. I think I could be completely wrong, but I think you have to attach yourself to EA Publishing in some way. I could be completely wrong about all this. But yeah, like why use something like Frostbite when you could use Unreal with low distribution cost, Jesus Christ. And pretty much all this other stuff, you know, high profitability. Yeah, so why do that? This is I gotta finish this video up because I
can
don't
be
know why. I'm
beneficial for
getting
the industry
fatigued.
as a whole, and I highly recommend you check it out. So, in the spirit of open source, we'll be releasing some new videos on Godot. I've been hard at work learning the engine, and while I'm no expert yet and things are a bit different this time around, there's no team, there are no patron supporters, we aren't in an office, in fact we're recording this from our home.
Nice.
I, with the help of Sophia, have done our best to create a couple of videos on the most essential parts of Godot. The first video will be a mega tutorial on making your very first game in Godot and should be out next week. The second one will be a complete overview of the GD script language and will be out within a month. We really can't wait to share them with you. And we thought that since so many things are different this time around, we might as well try something new. So the new videos will be in Danish.
Alright.
Hej alle sammen, og velkommen til vores første video om Godot. I den her video skal vi se på de mange Ja, hvad så?
Jeg er sikker på, at det virker det der med at gøre det på dansk.
Ja, jeg synes, det virker meget godt.
Jeg tror lige, jeg synes, vi skal bare tage
Alright.
det engelsk.
På engelsk? Det gør vi. Hello everyone, and welcome to our first video on Godot.
Alright, well. That was interesting. Alright, so all I'm gonna say is the AAA developers are shaking in their boots. I don't think they are. But hey, it's a thought to have that, you know, this could very much be the future that all of us desperately crave for. You know, all of us that want to get away from, you know, Ubisoft and like all these other developers. Hey, it's a glimmer of hope, I guess. Hang on, I'm gonna link you guys a video. Give me a sec.